Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, professional procrastinators and sincere students, welcome. You're watching Next IAS English. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here as we dive into one of the most significant developments in South Asian geopolitics in recent times. Today, we will be analyzing a breakthrough that could potentially end decades of border disputes between two of Asia's biggest powers, India and China. The recent discussion to start a delimitation exercise for final border demarcation marks a turning point, possibly from confrontation to cooperation. Let's begin by understanding what this exercise means, what led to it, and what its impact could be regionally as well as globally. Let's talk about the big announcement first. The shift comes after high-level discussions between India's NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval, and China's Foreign Minister, Mr. Wang Yi. Now, both nations have agreed to adopt a non-offensive military posture, which means no aggressive deployments, no confrontational patrols, and most importantly, to begin talks to finally define their shared border. Before that, let's look at the background of this whole thing. To understand why this is historic, we need to look back. India and China share a 3,488 kilometers long border, much of it disputed. The 1962 war, the later clashes like Doklam in 2017 and Galwan in 2020 shows how fragile this boundary is. The line of actual control is still undefined in many places, leading to confusion, overlapping patrols, and occasional deadly counters. So, a joint delimitation process is not just overdue, it's very essential. Let's look at why it matters. Why is this important? Because peace along the borders means more than just the absence of war. It ensures stability in the region, clear boundaries, reduce the risk of accidental escalations. It also opens the door to trade, infrastructure, development, and cross-border cooperation. For India, especially, peace at the border has always been a precondition for any broader diplomatic progress. Now, let's talk about India's strategic gains. What does India gain from it? For India, this is a strategic as well as a diplomatic win. It reflects India's maturity as a power that doesn't shy away from confrontation, but prefers peace when possible. It also means India can avoid constant military readiness in harsh terrain, saving costs and redirecting resources. On the global stage, India comes across a responsible, stable, and solution-oriented power. Now, let's talk about China's angle. This is also very important because China also benefits from this move, though for different reasons. It is dealing with an economic slowdown and supply chain issues and rising global isolation as well, especially due to its aggressive posture in the Indo-Pacific. A stable relationship with India allows Beijing to focus on internal challenges and push back against US influence in Asia. Now, let's talk about who will be the most shocked person in this announcement. This announcement likely rattled Pakistan. For decades, Pakistan has called China its all-weather friend, a key partner in its anti-India narrative. But if India and China find common ground, Pakistan's geopolitical leverage drops. It could even be diplomatically isolated in its own neighborhood. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Can India trust China? Well, history urges caution. In 1962, China invaded despite the Panchashil agreement. In 2020, soldiers died at Galwan even while talks were underway. So while we welcome dialogue, trust cannot be based on words alone. It must come from consistent behavior. Now, let's talk about the geopolitical angle of this. Globally, this agreement could shift power dynamics. The US has used India as a counterweight to China in Asia. But if India and China reduce tensions, US leverage in the region weakens. At the same time, India gains diplomatic space, balancing between the West and its Asian neighbors as well. Now, let's talk about the road ahead. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Delimitation is a complex technical and political progress. Success will require trust building, transparency, and continued vigilance. India must remain cautious, alert, and strategically prepared because peace is not declared, it is sustained. Let's look at the conclusion. In conclusion, this is a historic opportunity for both India and China. If successful, this delimitation exercise could end one of world's longest running border disputes. But let's be clear, this is just the beginning. India must remain strategically wise, diplomatically firm, and militarily alert, because the real test is not today's announcement, but what follows in the months and years ahead. So that's all for today. Thank you for being a part of this insightful session. We at Next IAS hope this presentation helped you better understand the complexities and opportunities surrounding the India-China border talks. This is not just a strategic update. It's a moment that could redefine geopolitics in Asia. Let's keep watching the story unfold with curiosity, caution, and clarity. Stay informed, stay analytical. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.